The Envious Clerk. There was a 1928 building with a climbing evergreen shrub, surrounded by ivy buds and amber studs, watching walls caressing a tree stub. Inside a woman loathed, all with power, conceit, law, and order, with treacherous love of a lawyer for her, who wore a short-leg garment to arouse. Oh, the way she wore a tight blouse. A clerk worked, toiling in an office for him, and her, burning in hotness to sort a file. Just a clerk over a desk, over hours of lights dim. Darkness for this clerk, typing a fast mile, wanting authority and affection higher, wanting dreaming for the lawyer's wife with fire. Cassie played as she plotted his time to murk, to loathe as a depressed, guts-gripping clerk. One fall day, the clerk said to Cassie, "I work," he muttered. "I work for you and a lawyer with wealth." He mumbled again, "I work as your clerk, but suppose Kiefer found bad or ill health?" Cassie replied solemnly, "He will always rule in my heart in private school." The clerk stood from his chair, with despair, jealous of their affair. He thought to himself, in over-involved agony, as he stood, with a black tie and white collar, immersed to disperse his mental misery. There with a life that proved smaller than a wife and a husband in a firm of law, they would debate trials of trivial flaw. The clerk learned of their shallow deceit, to forge a client for wine and fish to eat. How about we trade lives for a while, so you'll experience life as a creature, sharing a bone, wearing rags with style, said the clerk to Cassie in a blur, clouding her instinct to scream his death as she waited to choke his final breath. Cassie craved him to taste venom as a mortal crumb, stupid and dumb. Cassie said, "I am Kiefer's advisor and aid. We share passion with fortune of fame. In legality you're the lowest grade, so use your shame on another claim." This was her remark to be rude, as she uttered it to be most shrewd. And she moved to trim his meager fee with an old-school scanty salary. Kiefer heard his lawful beautiful bride. Laughing, he cut the clerk's wage, allowing Cassie to throw a stone of pride aside from the clerk's devotion and age. Two wedded gods made law violently, making his soul pay for his jealousy, saying, "We mock your human fault. Now we have more money in the vault." Cassie and Kiefer cared to be arrogant. They violated the oldest court above in a valued verdict that was flagrant, to judge with power greater than love. The clerk was in a stitch of sorrow, for he was chastised and made hollow. He would walk streets as a beggar to roam, with a mortgage on his home. 3 nights later, Cassie and Kiefer were in bed. Restless, they heard a maid at their door. They said, "Come in, we want to be fed." And she entered, to put food on the floor. Kiefer nibbled, while Cassie gnawed hard, saying, "This bread is a magical playing card." Kiefer replied, "You're right, I taste infect. I feel small, with 6 legs like an insect." Cassie screamed, "You're an ugly bug," as she found poison in her last bite, finishing to chew and spit on the rug, where she fell, feeling as a bird in flight. She had become a seagull to despise, mutating with hunger in her eyes. She turned to Kiefer with a flutter and flirt, to eat him as dessert.